Hare Krishna. So we are going to start chapter 7. In fact, we studied 4 or 5 verses before. So I'll try to have at least 19 or 20 verses today. And then remaining, maybe we can do sometimes this week. So we are basically in the module 2. And we'll be under that module. We are going to basically go through chapter 7 to 12. And that section of Bhagavad Gita is talking about Bhakti Yoga. So we finished discussion about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and the object of Karma Yoga, which is Niskam Karma Yoga, or Jnana Yoga, Niskam Jnana Yoga, or even in the Dhyana Yoga, the object of all of these yoga practices, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So right after studying those three types of major yoga, we are going to basically know about the Lord. Because if the Lord is the object of all of this yogic practice, then of course there is immediate need to know who the Lord is. So in chapter 7, Krishna is talking about giving the knowledge about himself. So title of this chapter is the knowledge about Krishna, the absolute knowledge about, so this chapter is basically going to give us the knowledge about that absolute personality, which is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Hari. So in this chapter, basically, we are going to study that who Krishna is and what is his external energy. So knowledge of Krishna means, of course, the knowledge of that person Krishna, but at the same time, that also includes knowledge of his energies. And then what is the relationship between Lord, his energies, these three elements, so Lord and his energies and the relationship. These three elements together basically comprise the complete knowledge. So if somebody will ask you, what is the complete knowledge? Not knowing about only Krishna is the complete knowledge, but yes, we have to also know about Krishna. At the same time, we have to know about his energies. And then also, what is the relationship? Because the relationship is the means by which one can obtain that supreme person, supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So this chapter has basically 5 major segments. From verse 1 to 3 is talking about the glory of knowledge about Lord Krishna. And then from verse number 4 to 12, knowledge of the Lord Krishna's energies. And then 13 to 19, who surrender to Krishna and who does not. So Krishna is going to talk about that who are the people who will surrender to him and who are the people who are not going to surrender to him. And then what is the destination of the soul who are demigod or impersonalist. And then finally, everybody is in the illusion. All living beings are in illusion. Then how they can come from illusion to pure devotional service, or at least to the devotional service. So if you really look at the flow of this chapter, this is very nicely segmented. Krishna is going to tell about his energies, and then he is going to talk who can surrender to him and who are not surrendered to him, and then also who are the people who worship demigods and impersonalists and what are their destination, and then how from delusion conditioned soul can come to the stage of pure devotion. So we studied this verse before. Krishna is emphasizing that one should hear about him. And then in verse number 2, he's talking about Gyan and Vijnana. Prabhupada in the translation, he is giving the English word phenomenal knowledge and noumenal knowledge. And phenomenal knowledge is knowledge about matters, matters about spiritual energies. And then noumenal knowledge or numinous knowledge is basically knowledge about the past time and about the sweetness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Normally, this Jnana and Vijnana is referred as Jnana is basically the knowledge, theoretical understanding, and Vijnana is realized knowledge. But in this particular context, Prabhupada is saying Jnana is basically knowing the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Vijnana is basically knowing about who the Supreme Person is and his sweetness and his pastime. So we studied about that. Then in verse number 3, Krishna is saying that it's very rare for a conditioned soul to aspire for realizations. There are many thousands of the people. Out of them, very few try for perfection. And even for few who are trying for perfection, very few of them would be, lucky enough to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then in verse number 4, Krishna is talking about apara prakriti, his external energy, which basically comprise five gross elements and then three subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then we talked about these three super soul. These are the three personalities. So the material energy, the material affair is basically sustained and supported by these three personalities. So the whole material creation, the super soul of the material creation is Mahavishnu, which is Karnodakshai Vishnu, known as Karnodakshai Vishnu. And then super soul of the universe is Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who is also known as Virat Rupa. Virat Rupa is basically referring to Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And then Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the super soul of all the living entities. So whatever features and external body a soul has been awarded by the material energy, Supreme Personality of Godhead resides in the heart of each and every living entity as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So the main message out of this slide is that the whole material world, either it's the material manifestation, the material world itself, or within that material creation, existence of a universe, and within that universe, the living beings, all of them are sustained and supported by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's powerful knowledge to have. Then in verse number 5, Krishna is talking about Paraprakriti, which is basically his higher energy. And we just talked about inferior energy, which is five bhuta, the gross energies, and then subtle mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then in verse number 5, Krishna is saying that the living entities are my superior energies, because they have a developed consciousness, or if they want, they can develop to higher consciousness. Then verse number 6, Krishna is saying that he is the creator and he is the destroyer. So all created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and that is spiritual in this world, known for certain that I am both the origin and dissolution. So if you really try to basically put in the whole creation in categories, there are two major categories. One is unconscious matter, and then the second one or another one is conscious matter. So living entity who have consciousness, or the dead matter who do not have consciousness. So both dead matter and the conscious living being, Krishna is saying that both of them are created by me, and at the time of dissolution, they are going to be destroyed. They are going to be annihilated by me. So Krishna is basically creator and destroyer of both uh, matter and conscious living being. At the same time, Krishna is the maintainer. He maintains both the material creation at the same time spiritual creation. And one may ask, then who is that person? So here, this verse is revealing that that person is a supreme personality, is a person. It's not, like Brahman Wadi or Mayavadi thinks, that everything is basically void, and Lord does not have a form. So here Krishna is saying that although I create, I annihilate, and I have been maintaining it, but I am a person. Matah partaram anyat kinsid asti dhananjaya mai sharvam idam protam sutre mani ganayu. This is a very beautiful verse where Krishna is saying that there is no truth in bracket and no one superior to me, O conqueror of wealth. So there is very clearly, Krishna is giving us this message that there is no truth superior to me, superior to him. Everything rests upon me, the supreme shelter, as pearls are strung on a thread. That is, Krishna is the supreme maintainer of the whole universe. So beautiful verse. It's not one of the verse that we have to remember, but one of the verse that we mostly cite whenever we are trying to declare that how the whole creation is sustained and supported by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is giving an example that in the Godland, all the flowers are basically supported by thread, or it's resting on the thread. Thread is going through all the flower, and you can see the garland, but you cannot see the thread that's putting them together. So this is a very beautiful example Krishna is giving, that how basically he supports the whole creation as thread is supporting the uh, garlands. We have the neck bead, and we see that the beads are basically visible, and we can see it's beads there, but the thread is under going through all of the beads to keep them together. So likewise, Lord Sri Krishna is the is the cause, or is the reason by which all the external and internal manifestation is sustained and supported. There is a common controversy about in the purport Prabhupada is writing. I wanted to basically, a little bit go through that. So in the purport, Prabhupada is saying there is a common controversy over whether the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a absolute person or impersonal. The absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. He is not impersonal. He is a person, and also there is no truth superior to that supreme person, because he is the supermost. So there is no truth higher than that supreme person. And then rest next three of the verses, Krishna is talking about how he manifests in different elements of the material world. So we'll just quickly go over that. Rasoham apsu kontaya. Krishna is saying that I am taste of the water, very famous verse. I'm sure most of you have heard that. Prabhashmi sasi suraya, light of the sun and the moon. Pranava sarva vedeshu, syllable om in the Vedic mantra. Shabdah khe, sound in ether. Porsham nrishu, ability in man. Verse number 9. Punya gandha prithvyam cha, natural fragrance of the earth. Tejas chasmi vibhavasho, heat in fire. Jivanam sarvabhuteshu, life of all that lives, all the living matter. Tapaschasmi, tapashvishu, austerity of all the ecstatic. So likewise, Krishna is saying that he is the taste of the water, he is light of the sun and moon, he is syllable Om in the Vedic mantra, he is sound in the ether, he is ability in the man, he is natural fragrance of the earth, he is heat in fire, he is life of all the living matter, and he is austerity of all the austere person. Then verse number 10 talks about Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam, original seeds of all existence. Original seeds of all existence. And we saw that three super soul of the material creation, super soul of the universe, and super soul of the living entity. Buddhir, Buddhi, Buddhimatam Ashmi. Buddhir, Buddhimatam Ashmi. Intelligence of the intelligent. So Krishna is saying that he is intelligence of the intelligent person. Tejas, Tejasvi Namaham, provisions of all powerful man. Balam Balvatam Chaham, Kama Raga Vivarjitam, strength of the strong, which is free from selfish desire and attachment. Dharma aviridho bhuteshu, sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharata. So Krishna is saying here that dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamo cha asmi bharatarsabha. I am the kama, I am the sex which is not against the religious principle. So through these verses 8 to 11 verses, these are very powerful verses. Sometimes we do cite it where Krishna, we say that, oh, how to remember Krishna all the time. How one can remember Krishna? Well, we can remember Krishna by looking at what he's saying here. When we are taking the water, oh, the taste that's coming out of water, that's coming because of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have light outside now. It's very sunny day. Krishna is saying that I am the light of the sun. Moon is so pleasant, so beautiful. It's because of the Krishna's energy. So likewise, in each and every matter and in each and every living being, in fact, if we have enlivened or advanced our consciousness, we can see the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna is now just finished talking about his energies, right? So one may think that, oh wow, so this is all basically Krishna, right? One may think that, and that's what basically Mayavadi thinks. Mayavadi basically thinks that since that supreme person has disintegrated and manifested in all the other creations and living being and everything else, they all are Krishna, but that original person has basically lost. That person is not there, rather he has expanded and he has been disintegrated into the creation. That's what Brahmanwadi thinks, right? So here, Prabhupada, Krishna is saying in the purport, sorry, Krishna is saying in this verse, and Prabhupada is writing in the purport very clearly that one should not think that if Krishna is saying that these are my energies, then he has basically lost into his energy. Rather, no, these are all my energies, but I am not under their influence. So all material activities are being conducted by the modes of matter, material nature, the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is not subject to them. So everything is being conducted and governed and regulated by Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the Lord is not the part. Lord is not subject to that. An example is most of the time given that a king is, although he is giving punishment and he is conducting and managing the whole kingdom, but he is beyond the constitution of that particular kingdom. So although Krishna seems to be managing and governing and conducting everything, but he is not subjected to that. Under the state law, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. He is nirguna. So that's another beautiful point to remember. What is nirguna? So there are three guna, tamoguna, rajaguna, and satoguna. So Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is nirguna, means he is not affected by these guna. So that's another way, one of the definitions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything else, like all the demigods are also under the influence of guna. They are not beyond guna. They are in the mode of sattva guna. But Supreme Personality of Godhead is nirguna. He is beyond uh, uh, these gunas. And then Prabhupada is summarizing the purport, saying that this is one of the special character of Bhagwan. The special character of the Bhagwan. Bhagwan is basically not impacted by the gunas. He has nothing to do with these three gunas, although he is cause of these three guna. And then the next segment, Krishna is going to talk who surrenders to him and who does not surrender. That's a very beautiful segment. So all the living beings, doesn't matter where they are, on which planet they all are deluded by Maya, by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And due to that illusion, they don't know who the Krishna is. Krishna is saying that I am beyond these modes and inexhaustible. But since the living beings are deluded, and due to that delusion, they are not aware of myself. So this forgetfulness is basically awarded to a living being so that they can innocently, in very innocent way, they can fulfill their desires. I mean, today is Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that many innocent, many innocent lives have gone today, and that for the pleasure. This is a festival for many people. So if there is awareness about life, if there is awareness about that, doesn't matter either something in the form of the bird or in the form of a human or whatever form one has been awarded, they are conscious soul, then sure they would not kill. So for soul to enjoy or to fulfill their desire, they have been given some ignorance. Avidya is awarded so that they can innocently enjoy. And they say the ignorance is the bliss. So due to ignorance, they think that they are living a blissful life. So the whole jivas are imposed the curtain of Maya, and due to that, they think, in the purport Prabhupada is writing, they think that I'm Brahmin, I'm Kshatriya, I'm Vaisya, or whatever designation or destinations they have. They tie themselves with that destinations, such as thinking that I'm human beings, I'm demigods, I'm animal, etc. Each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature. Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature. So bhakti is beyond these three modes of material nature. Surapadhi vinurmuktam tat parvatena nirmalam rishikena rishikesam sevnam bhakti. So Surapadhi vinurmuktam, whatever designation one has, one should be ready to basically renounce that designation and then use whatever is remaining to engage in pure devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in that purport, some of the last line Prabhupada is trying to emphasize that all of this designation that one has, whatever designation, and this is very subtle, you might, it might appear, I have heard it and we are hearing it, but really this is something that need to be, meditated on and need to be really, kind of, think through to find out what designation we have that we are basically, carrying on, or or we are identifying ourselves with that specific designation, because any designation that we have, that is going to be obstacle in the path of bhakti. What is our actual designation? Jivara Sarupaya
An
Nitya Krishna
observant.
Da. Yeah, so we are always basically, devotee. We always have been serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and our goal is to come to that stage. So now we'll basically study about, this is the beautiful verse, the star verse. So this is the verse that I think you'll have to remember for your exam also. So one can transcend Maya, this delusion, this illusion, by surrendering to Krishna. Okay, so we just saw in the previous verse that all the living beings are under illusion, under Maya, and they are identifying with wrong subject, or with wrong identification, men, women. But that delusion can be vanquished by taking the devotional service. And that's the basically, nutshell. Krishna is saying that Daiva hi esa gunamai mammaya durataya. This material energy of mind, consisting of the three modes, is very, 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 very difficult to overcome. Mam eva e prapadyante mamitam taranti te. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross over this Maya. I don't know. I mean, it's very clear message here. So it's very hard to cross by our own. But if we take the devotional service, and if we surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we can cross over this Maya. So who are the four types of people? These are the Duskrita, Shukriti and Duskriti. So we have to remember who are the people who are Duskritas, and who are, the next verse Krishna is going to say, who are Shukriti's people, who are the people who takes the uh, bhakti, devotional service, and who are the people who do not surrender to Krishna. So there are four types of duskritas. Namam duskritano muddha prapadyante naradamaha maya paharta jnana asuram bhavam asritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of the demons, do not surrender unto me. So this is a table that you have to remember. So four type of people Krishna is saying that normally they do not surrender to him. First one is Mudha. And who are the Mudha? I'll just give some definitions. Mudha are the people who work very hard only for sense enjoyment. They are Mudha. But the good thing about those Mudha are that if they get the association of sadhu, saintly person, then they can become devotee, because they are completely in ignorance and they are enjoying their senses, or you can say that their intelligence is only developed up to the extent of sense enjoyment. So these are the murha who are living a life like animal, and they are doing things for sense pleasure. They do not have information about who they are, self, knowledge of the self, and they have no information about super self. So no Atma Gyan and no Gyan about God. No Param Gyan, no Atma Gyan. And then the second class Krishna is saying is Naradhama. This Naradhama is Nar Adhama, it's lower than Nara. And why they are called lower than Nara? Because these are the people who have taken the dharma, or who have taken the process of religiosity, but they are using for wrong purpose. Okay, or they take, they pretend to be like a religious man, will be doing the things that will appear that this person has some interest with the dharma, but intentionally they are just showing it off. So that type of person is even lower than Nara. Why they are being called lowest of the mankind? Because they are using right tool for wrong purpose. Right tool for wrong purpose. So taking dharma for livelihood, or preaching, or taking bhakti for name and fame, for power, for strength. People should know who am I, for our personal, benefit. Completely wrong direction. So I gave an example that one may be on the highway, but may drive in the wrong direction. Okay, full speed, brand new car, all the skill of the driving. You are very good driver. You can drive with the full speed, with full control, expert in driving. And you are on the highway also, but you are driving in the wrong direction. So dear devotee, this is not something very simple. It's very deep subject. So we don't have to drive in the wrong direction. We have to drive in the right direction. That is why bhakti is not for power and strength, or for self-recognition. Bhakti is basically for diluting ourselves, dilute your impurities, dilute your I, dilute your mind, dilute your me, slowly and slowly, and going down and being submissive and surrender, and uh, weak. Queen Quinty is praying that my dear Lord, you are basically the property of the one who has nothing. Okay, so you only, akinchana gocharam. You are basically uh, the property of the person who has no other shelter. Okay, so that's what it is. We don't wanna. The bhakti is basically, bhakti means slowly and slowly taking the shelter of the Krishna, and thinking that there is nobody else in this world can save me except Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Hari. So this Naradhama are the type of people who are basically showing off bhakti, but internally they have some other desire. And then Maya Apahart Jnana, these are the so-called scientific community of the society today, the philosopher, and all those mentally or people who are doing mental speculations, on the name of science, or even on the name of religiosity, this atheism type of thing, and giving, wrong conclusion. Whole life they study math, physics, chemistry, and this and that, and they talk about dharma. And what's happening is that the people who have not studied the subject of bhakti, not studied the shastra, they are very advanced in the material world. I mean, some of the big people in the material world, or they have made some or other very big position in the material world, and they translate that designation and position into the spiritual world, and then we see them in the same status. So somebody is very successful in the material world, and we just translate that success in the spiritual world, and we start seeing that person is spiritually also success. That's not true. That's not true. Somebody might be very, very successful in the material world, but if he's not talking based upon Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, he's nothing but foolish number one. So Krishna is saying that there are this Maya Aparat Jnana. They pretend to have, Gyan, and with that Gyan, they basically create confusion into the society. And what they do, one of the things that they do is that they think that Lord, when he comes in this material world, he also has a human form. Many times people will ask, oh, Krishna was killed, or Ram was this, Ram was that, all of this mental speculation. Rather, one should see through the eyes of Shastra. So this Maya Apahar Jnana, these people, they seems to have a lot of knowledge about so many subjects, but all they are doing is they are just deluded speculators. They are just speculating about the subject and creating more and more confusion. So Krishna is saying that those type of people, it's very hard for them to come and surrender unto me. And the fourth one is Asura Bhavam, who has completely, demoniac behavior, who are atheist and they are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And many examples such as Jarasandha and Kamsa and Sisupal and Ravan and so many other personality, who whole life they plan to kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is not that it only applies to Ravan and Sisupal and Kamsa. Even today, there are people writing research paper. They are researching into, the lab, and they are putting their concoctive thoughts and writing the articles and subjects, which is very much trying to vanquish the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, trying to wipe out the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they do not know by doing that, they are in fact forcing themselves into the forest of the fire. They are just going to burn themselves alive. So these are some of the personalities who exist in the society, and they do not accept Supreme Lord. Although they seems to have all of these, they seems to have the intelligence, they seems to have the knowledge about the subject, but they are taking in a wrong direction. So then who are the people who would surrender to the Supreme Lord? Chaturvidya bhajante mam jnana sukrito arjuna harto jigyasur artharthi jnane cha bharatarsavaha. So these are the four type of people who will come and surrender to Supreme Lord Sri Hari. So artha, arthas basically the distressed, the person who has made his his impact, or has tried to make things in his own way, or tried the best, and still he couldn't get the satisfaction. Yeah, he might get the success, but not the satisfaction. Please understand the difference. So one may be very, very successful, but one might not be satisfied. All of these people here, these four type of people, at least the middle two, Naradama and Maya Paharta Jnana. These two people in the society today, they are successful people, but they might not be satisfied. So the one who is not satisfied, although they have made several impacts, they have made several attempts by their own, but they haven't made it. So they get distressed. And once they get distressed, then they say, okay, so there is something beyond me. I tried my best. I couldn't make it. There might be something beyond me. And that something beyond me can help me. So Artha, an example is given here, that Gajendra, and we'll talk about the pastime of Gajendra. So Gajendra basically fought with the crocodile continued, fighting. All of his relatives, his wives who were on the bank of that, river or of that lake, they all left. They waited for some time, and when they found out that this fight is going to be long with the crocodile, they all left. There was nobody around. He continued fighting, fighting, fighting. This is very beautiful. This is very beautiful to understand. That's what we are doing. Slowly and slowly, our near and dear people, they are not literally leaving us, but they're living the material world one by one. All the leaves of this tree is falling apart, and there is nothing left. There is nobody around to see. Still, Gajendra is trying to fight, 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 fight. But then he thinks, now I'm going to be plunged. I'm going to be carried away and taken by this crocodile. What is next for me? Then he's remembering, oh, I was a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We all were devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what that verse says. You are a Surupa Nitara Krishna Das. So we all are devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is the difference between we and Gajendra? No difference. The only difference is that Gajendra called out the name of Krishna. He put forward his heartfelt prayer. My dear Lord, I do not have any shelter now. Kindly help me. We are still holding on some of the stuff that we have in our life. We still think that still there is some hope, and I can make out of the hope that I have still remaining. So literally, there is no difference. We all are in the same situation as Gajendra was. Gajendra called out the name of Krishna, and we didn't call out. But Krishna is saying here that those distressed, they have chance. They will one day call me out. And then Jigyasu, the people who are neti, asking what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what to not do, do's and don'ts, and leaving the don'ts out, doing the do's, and slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly they move, they go up, they go up, they go up, they take the higher association. And all of us, whenever we got the opportunity, we heard some good thing, we developed the taste for it, we liked it. We cannot say that, when we came to Krishna consciousness, I was fully matured and I was super smart. No, but at least some of the teaching of his divine grace attracted us, and we liked it. So we just bend ourselves a little bit, in that direction, and slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, we are on the process of bhakti. So the inquisitive are the people who have chance to take the process of bhakti. An example is given here. All the rishis, the six Goswamis, Sonakadi rishis, they are basically, asking the questions. When Sanatana Goswami met Mahaprabhu. When Sanatana Goswami met Mahaprabhu, he said that Gramine Bevhar Pandita Ami, Jani, in the Gramin, dealings, people tell me that I'm a Pandita, but Ami Hito, Ami Kichu Nahi Jani. It's coming from Chaitanya Charitamrita. But for my benefit, I do not know anything. I do not know anything. But in the dealings of the material world, everybody says that I am Pandita, Pandita Samadarshina, I am Pandita, I am a learned man. But I myself do not know who am I. So this type of cheating is basically existing all around. Okay, it appears that that I am the knower of something. I know even when we start getting into the process of bhakti, it appears that now I know something. But what is for our good, we do not know unless and until we really very seriously trying to become a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So some of the Jigyasus, they, by the process of neti, accepting and rejecting, rejecting the one that is not favorable, taking the one that's favorable, they come to the point where they know Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Parameshwari Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Arthi, the one who is looking for material advancement, the one who is looking for wealth, for some names, for some fames, for some prosperity. And example is given here. Dhruv Maharaj started doing his bhakti because he wanted to be king. But when he met Lord Vishnu, he got so purified that he said that, my dear Lord, I was whole life preparing for, for, for broken glasses. In a whole life, I was preparing for broken glasses. But just by looking at you, I got diamond. Now I realize that there is no substitute of the pure devotional service. So, but the good thing with that is that they also come to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So people who come to Lord and say that, my dear Lord, dhanam dehi, putram dehi, putrim dehi, whatever they're asking, Krishna is still, likes them and he appreciates that. Thank you. Nice. Thank you for coming. So that's what this verse is saying. And then the Jnani are the one who are seeking for the higher and higher knowledge. And finally, that seeking leads to finding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Hari. An example is given here, Sukdev Goswami. Sukdev Goswami, in his early on life, he was a Jnani, and then he basically turned into pure devotee after association of his father, Vyasdev. So that's how it is. All of these four personality, Artha, Jigyashu, Arthi, and Jnani. All of these four, they have chances of coming to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the next section of the verse 17 and 18, in verse number 17, Krishna is saying, out of these four, Artha, Jigyasu, Arthi, and Jnani, Jnani is the best. So Jnani is the best. Why Jnani is the best? Because Jnani is constantly searching and thinking about Krishna. And one of the quality of the Jnanis are that they are renounced. So they are not the pure devotee. They are not the pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they do not go to Supreme Lord for some material desire. Rather, they are desiring for liberation. They are desiring for liberation. Their desire is not for the material benefit. So Krishna is saying that out of all of this, the Jnani is the best because Jnani is constantly thinking of me. Yes, not thinking of him as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, but even as a Brahman. Prabhupada many times write in his purport that all of these people, either someone is Brahmanwadi or somebody is Paramatmawadi or somebody is Bhagwanwadi, all three of them are transcendentalists. They are all basically devotee in one sense. So Krishna is saying here that that person is constantly thinking of, I should be he says here. So that person, the Jnani, is constantly thinking about the Supreme Lord, and that Jnani has no other desire. He is not going to Lord for material benefit. And verse number 18, very beautiful verse. All of them are magnanimous. Krishna is saying that Krishna loves all these four personality. Doesn't matter even one go for material benefit. If one is going to Krishna, it's much better. So Krishna loves all four because they approach him even with material desire. Jena kena prakarena. Jena kena prakarena. Whatever way possible. Little bit, too much, whatever extent we can, we have to approach Supreme Personality of Godhead. Doesn't matter, even if we have some material desire, we have to ask the Supreme Personality of Godhead, my dear Lord, please help me. If we have, if we are not up to that stage, and we still think that we should pray to the Lord to fulfill our material desire, we should pray to Krishna. So this verse, verse number 18, very clearly teaching us that doesn't matter even if somebody has pure desire, perfect. Even if there is some impure desire, It's much better to approaching Supreme Personality of Godhead. And next segment of this chapter, will come. Demigod, and you saw that there are list of 4 or 5 verses where Krishna is going to talk about the demigod worshipper and also for about the impersonalist, right? So there we'll talk more about it. But the point here is that even if there is some desire, instead of going to demigod, one should go to Lord Hari, to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagwan Sri Krishna. So that's what we are learning from verse number 18. And then 19, this verse might not be in your handout for one of the verses to be memorized, but I'm adding that verse. Bhunam Jamanamante Gyanwan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatmana Shadurlabha Samahatma Shadurlabha. This is a beautiful verse. So we have to basically memorize this verse, remember this verse. And the translation of this verse is that after many birth and death, he who is actually in knowledge surrender unto me. After many birth, knowing me to be the cause of all the causes and all pervading bracket the surrender to me by devotee association. Such a great surrender soul is very rare. So very clearly Krishna is saying here that becoming pure devotee is also not that you'll see all over the place. Prabhupada, when he's writing, Srimad Bhagavatam, what he's saying that I'm making all of this effort. At least if there'll be one pure devotee on this planet, all of my hard work will be paid off. So I mean, of course, Krishna is also saying here that kevala bhakta, shuddha bhakti, and we'll talk about that. There are three types of bhaktas. We'll talk about that later. So this kevala bhakta, this pure devotee, is not very common. It's rare. Bahunam janmanamante gyanvan mam prapadyante. After many birth and death, one who is Gyanwan, they can come and take the process of bhakti. Brahmand Bharmitte Kono Bhagyavan Jiv Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata. Page, So this seed of devotion is coming after going through many lives and births and deaths and all of that. And that's the, in one sense, and that's the basically mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he make us forget. Otherwise, if you look into the jungle, into the forest, for a deer, if he goes into the river to take the water, there is fear of the crocodile. When he's walking on the land, there is fear of the jackals and fox and tigers and lions. Okay, so for that innocent deer, there is no place where he can go. He can go into the water, crocodile is waiting for him. He'll go on the land, grazing the grass, green grasses. The fox and jackals and tigers are waiting for him. So where he can go. Likewise, where we can go. Everything is so when we look at the, when we look at the things, we do not translate that. This forgetfulness is also awarded because how miserable our life is going to be when we try to go back and see that in previous life I was a deer, I was a cat, I was a dog. I don't know who I was. How did I go through? So right now, at least, all I know is that maybe after 10 years of my birth, when I started remembering things, until maybe 10 to 60 years, I would say the first 5-10 years, basically, you can't remember what happened, and last 5-10 years also you can't remember because everything is gone. So this very short time where our memory is helping us, and then before that is blank, after that is blank. So there is really, not much that we remember as such. And if you remember everything, life after life, life after life, life after life, and all the suffering and all the torture and everything that we have, gone through, really the conditioned soul will do nothing but only bhakti. Will say, oh my gosh, the torture and the pain and all of that, ons and off that I have seen. Now I'm not going to waste this life. And that is why Jara Bharat is doing it. he went through so much suffering, and this is example presented to us through Jar Bharat, that how he little mistake deviated him from the path of the bhakti, and then at some point he came and he acted like Jara, no interaction, only interaction for the purpose of Krishna consciousness. So coming to the point of pure devotee is a very, pure devotion is a very deep uh, subject, but we do not have qualification. We have nothing, to even aspire for, no qualification to even, think about that. But by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we should make a strong attempt. And that's what, this verse is teaching, that pure devotion, the Kevala Bhakti is rare. So with that, I would like to stop here, and I would like to have one more session, maybe uh, maybe on this Saturday, or maybe I can do it tomorrow. So can you unmute yourself and please give me some idea when we can have our next session this week before Saturday? Can we do so Ramkrishna Prabhu, you said that you have something going on at 2 to 3:30 every day?
No, on Saturdays I have 2 to 3 blocked out, but tomorrow I don't have availability.
Okay. Okay. So I got it.
Yeah,
now.
no, I have every Saturday 2 to 3:30 actually blocked out until we're done here. So
Thank you. Yes, pretty good. Oh, thank you. So I got it. So can we meet this Saturday then?
Yeah, Prabhu, we should meet on Saturday as usual.
Yes. Yeah. No,
yeah.
all of you agreed with that. Only, Ramkrishna Prabhu, sorry. No, I thought that you were saying that 2 to 3:30 is blocked for something else. I didn't read the message also. So I just come, yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. So we should meet on this Saturday, okay? And I'll try to, it's holidays time. So if you all want, maybe we can do more than one session. So we'll talk about that. Yes, Prabhu, you were saying something?
Oh, I just said Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhu. A nice, picture. I see Guru Maharaj giving you initiation there. That's very good. You got,
That was last September.
oh, you got initiated last September?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, on Haridas Thakur's disappearance day.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Very good. Yeah, when you were talking, the picture is coming on the screen. So I see Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Yes. So Hare Krishna Prabhu's, Mataji, anything before we adjourn? So this Saturday, 2 o'clock, we can meet, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So we'll have the Vaishnava Pranams. Please start working on your homework, and we'll catch up very soon. Okay. I'm going to be now, trying to see if I can have more than one class, at least, next 2-3 weeks. It's kind of holidays time. So if you all like, we miss some, classes here. So I will try to catch that up. Not a problem. We'll get into the pace very soon.
Prabhu, Saturday maybe we could have a little bit longer session.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Bhupal Prabhu. Yes. That's nice. I can tell you that's very good that you all want to hear and you want to have more classes. This is very inspiring, very inspiring. I can see that few of you were missing that. Oh, I do not have homework to do. And so that's nice. This learning thing, it's very good. I'm going to start Bhakti Vaibhav also, okay, very soon. So you all can be the student of the Bhakti Vaibhav also, and we can study Srimad Bhagavatam together. That's very nice. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we'll meet this Saturday at 2 o'clock. Okay. We'll have the Vaishnava Pranams. Vanshkalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evasya patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Assemble Bhakta ki jai. Nitai Gaur Prem Nandi Hari Hari Bol. ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Guru Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandvat Pranam. See you on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Hari. Dandvat. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hare
Dandvat.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Prabhus. I'm going to close the Call na, Hari Bol.